Reacher's Neagly spin-off is exciting, but it will miss the Alan Ritchson show's biggest strength. Prime Video's Reacher has quickly become one of the biggest success stories in streaming television. In only 2 seasons, it turned Alan Ritchson into a household name and revived the appetite for unapologetic, old-school action storytelling. With the announcement that Maria Stenz-France's Neagly will headline her own spin-off series, excitement has hit fever pitch. Fans who loved her witty banter with Jack Reacher and her formidable presence in both seasons are eager to see her in the spotlight. But while the Neagly series has all the ingredients to succeed, it's impossible to ignore that it will be missing the single biggest strength of Reacher, Alan Ritchson himself. His towering physicality, dry humor, and magnetic intensity are the heart of the franchise. Without that presence, the spin-off will face challenges, even as it opens new storytelling opportunities. This doesn't mean the Neagly spin-off is doomed to live in Reacher's shadow. In fact, it has the potential to carve out its own unique identity. But in order to thrive, it must embrace what makes Neagly special while acknowledging that it can't replicate the core ingredient that made Reacher an international sensation. Why Reacher works. The Alan Ritchson factor. When Reacher first premiered in 2022, many doubted whether Prime Video could deliver a faithful adaptation of Lee Child's novels. Tom Cruise's earlier film versions had their fans, but Cruise, talented though he is, was never a believable physical match for the 6'5", 250-pound Reacher. Ritchson, on the other hand, was perfectly cast. From the moment he stepped on screen, Ritchson's sheer size changed the energy of every scene. His presence sold the idea of Reacher as an unstoppable force, a man who could dismantle a room full of enemies without breaking a sweat. Yet what elevated the performance wasn't just the muscles. Ritchson gave Reacher a wry wit, a surprising gentleness with allies, and an intimidating intelligence that reminded audiences he was more than just a blunt instrument. That combination of brain and brawn is the heart of Reacher. It's why the show became Prime Video's crown jewel of dad TV, a genre dominated by straightforward heroes, clean storytelling, and brutal action sequences. Take away Ritchson, and you're left with a major question. How do you build a show that feels like Reacher without the character of Reacher himself? Neagly's strengths? A different kind of hero. Maria Stenz-France's Neagly is not a Reacher copycat, and that's exactly what makes her spin-off promising. Introduced in Season 1 as one of Reacher's trusted old comrades from the military police, she instantly stood out. Sten's performance brought quiet confidence, loyalty, and sharp wit to the screen. She was Reacher's equal in terms of tactical intelligence, even if she couldn't match his physical dominance. In Season 2, her role expanded significantly. Neagly helped lead the 110th Special Investigations Unit alongside Reacher, and her calm authority made her feel like the natural second in command. She could keep the team focused, mediate conflicts, and offer insights that Reacher, ever the lone wolf, sometimes overlooked. Unlike Reacher, Neagly doesn't operate purely as a drifter. She's grounded in more traditional notions of duty and responsibility. While Reacher famously cuts ties with everything and everyone, Neagly maintains her friendships and actively builds relationships. That opens the door to richer character development in a spin-off. In short, where Reacher's show thrives on raw physical dominance and minimalist characterization, Neagly's spin-off could lean into psychology, strategy, and team dynamics. That's exciting, but it also highlights the risk of missing Ritchson's screen-filling charisma. The challenge of filling the void. The problem for the Neagly spin-off is not Neagly herself, it's the absence of Reacher. Alan Ritchson is so central to the Reacher identity that even fans who love Neagly may subconsciously compare her series to his. Here are a few challenges the spin-off will face. 1. The physical spectacle. Reacher's fight scenes aren't just entertaining, they're iconic. Watching Ritchson effortlessly flatten opponents sells the idea of him as a modern-day myth. Neagly can fight, but she doesn't have the same physical scale, which means the action will have to be staged differently. The spin-off must embrace creative, tactical combat rather than trying to replicate Reacher's brute force style. 2. The lone wolf mystique. Part of Reacher's charm is the way he wanders into trouble like a gunslinger from an old western. Neagly doesn't have that drifter DNA, which means the spin-off will need a new hook to explain her adventures. Otherwise, the series risks feeling like a generic procedural. 3. Star power. Alan Ritchson's breakout success can't be understated. His charisma carried Reacher into the mainstream. Maria Sten is talented, but she doesn't yet have the same global recognition. Prime Video will need to surround her with equally compelling supporting actors to elevate the series, where the Neagley spinoff could shine. But while it will miss Ritchson's commanding presence, the Neagley spinoff also has advantages Reacher never had. 1. Team-oriented storytelling. Neagley is at her best when working with others. A spinoff could assemble a core group of recurring allies, perhaps pulling from Reacher's extended network of former military police comrades. This would give the show a richer ensemble feel, in contrast to Reacher's more solitary structure. 2. Psychological depth. Neagley is a fascinating character precisely because of her vulnerabilities. In Lee Child's novels, she suffers from haphophobia, a discomfort with being touched, which has yet to be fully explored in the show. A spin-off could delve into how she navigates relationships and maintains her edge despite personal challenges. This adds layers that even Reacher's series rarely explores. 3. Espionage and conspiracy angles. While Reacher often finds himself embroiled in local corruption or criminal enterprises, Neagley's stories could lean more heavily into espionage, government cover-ups, or high-stakes conspiracies. Her skill set and contacts make her perfect for morally complex thrillers. 4. Female-led action series. Prime Video already has a strong stable of action shows, Reacher, Jack Ryan, Citadel, but few of them feature a female lead with Neagley's grounded, military credibility. This could help the spin-off stand out in a crowded market. The key to success: embrace the difference. The worst mistake the Neagley spin-off could make is trying to mimic Reacher beat for beat. No amount of slow-motion fights, hulking villains, or lone wolf wanderings will feel authentic without Alan Ritchson. Instead, the spin-off must lean into Neagley's uniqueness. That means building stories around her strengths, loyalty, intelligence, and leadership. It means crafting action sequences that highlight precision and tactics instead of brute force. And it means exploring the emotional side of her character, something that Reacher rarely does for its protagonist. If done well, the Neagley series could even complement Reacher, giving fans two flavors of the same universe: the bombastic, larger-than-life exploits of Ritchson's hero, and the more cerebral, emotionally layered adventures of Sten's Neagley. A shared universe potential. One thing fans can look forward to is the possibility of crossover episodes. Prime Video has built an expanding stable of action franchises, and Reacher is one of its cornerstones. Having Ritchson guest star in Neagley's series, even briefly, would electrify audiences. Imagine a storyline where Neagley investigates a conspiracy that eventually requires Reacher's blunt force intervention. Or conversely, a